Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. With us now is one of Britain's most influential journalists and broadcasters, Andrew Neil, a former editor at The Economist magazine and later the Sunday Times of London. He now hosts 4 political shows a week on BBC television. He is also chairman of The Spectator magazine and heads several media groups in Britain and the Mideast. And Andrew, it's good to speak with you again. Thanks for joining us today.
It's great to be back on Newsmax.
Well, we've seen the images from around the world, the joy and the celebration after the birth of a young son to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Kate. Andrew, tell us, what does the royal birth mean to the Commonwealth, and what does baby Cambridge mean for the future of the monarchy?
Well, I think the significance is that it secures the monarchy through the 21st century. You know, when the 20th century came to an end, the reputation of the British monarchy among British people was pretty much at an all-time low. And not many people were sure that it would survive the new century. But with the marriage of William and Kate, and now with the new royal prince having arrived, there are now, I think the best headline for the story is "We Three Kings," because there are now 3 kings ready to take over from the Queen when she dies. So it seems to me pretty... The Republicans who hope to get rid of the monarchy in the 21st century, it doesn't look like they're going to get their way.
And what kind of parents do you think William and Kate will be? And do you expect the future king's upbringing will be even more laid back or modern, if you will, than that of past British royals?
Oh, it'll be. This is a very modern couple. I had dinner with them in November of last year. They're young, they're modern, they're outward-looking. They'll bring up the prince as normal as a young prince can have an upbringing. And I think that they'll be a very modern couple in the way they look after him. It will not be a stuffy Victorian kind of upbringing. It'll be a lot less stuffy than even the upbringing William had, and that was pretty modern and worlds away from the upbringing that Prince Charles had. This young couple will bring this young lad up as very much as a prince of the 21st century.
And the phenomenon of 24-hour news coverage wasn't around when Prince William was born, nor was there a significant presence of online social media. What do you make of the media coverage surrounding the royal birth, and what parallels or differences do you see between the media coverage of this birth and, say, William's birth to the late Princess Diana?
Well, you're quite right. It's a hugely different media environment now. Something like Newsmax didn't exist then, 24 Hours didn't, there was no social media. It's been a global media fest in which everybody's been able to have their say, not just the established broadcasters. Of course, for a long while they didn't have very much to report, and it was an unusually sweltering temperatures in London as they waited outside the hospital. But it's kind of made a feeding frenzy across the media. There is, I don't quite understand it. I'm a kind of small R Republican myself, or at least I have been, but you have to admit there is something quite magical about a royal birth that for some reasons captures the imagination of people across the world. Even those who got rid of the monarchy in 1776 are showing as much interest as those back in the old country who kept the monarchy.
And let's talk for a second about the tradition of succession. A new rule, which has been ratified by just 3 of the Commonwealth's 16 realms, removes the right of male offspring to leapfrog over older sisters onto the throne. Do you see the realms continuing to move forward to buck the 300-year-old law and change royal succession, even though that a boy has just been born?
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that. The reason why this monarchy has survived for 1,000 years is because it has changed with the times. And when it doesn't change with the times, as it looks like it wasn't in the 1980s and 1990s, it's in jeopardy. So I think in a way it's a pity that the young prince isn't a princess, because that would have just made clear this change in the law. But the male line of succession is gone now. That will never come back. And in the 21st century, I suspect almost everybody thinks that's the right thing.
And I understand, according to published reports, that you coached the baby's grandmother, the late Princess Diana, in terms of how to handle and how to cope with the media. Can you confirm that that's indeed the case? And are there any anecdotes you can share with us?
Not really anecdotes. There's no question that this new prince is blessed with 2 major things in his favor, and on each side of the family. And that is that Diana was his grandmother, or would have been his grandmother if she'd still been alive. And Diana herself had a modernizing effect on the British monarchy, and you see that in William. William is very much the creation of Diana, and therefore this young prince will be very much in the William-Diana rather than the Charles line of things. But don't underestimate the significance of the Middleton family either. This is a modern, self-made, middle-class family that has come from nowhere and built up their business. They are a very strong family. William gets on really well with them. He loves spending time at the Middletons' home, getting away from the stuffy court and the palaces and everything else. He gets on very well with his in-laws. And this is, in 1,000 years of history, this is the first prince to be born whose great-grandfather was a coal miner. You haven't heard that before.
Last question for you, Andrew. Americans remain fascinated with the royals. Coverage of the baby's birth is still front page news here in the U.S. Why do you think Americans love the royals so much?
I am not really quite sure. I don't think it's because you regret what you did in 1776, but I think, this country, America, where I'm in at the moment, it is the land of celebrity, and there are no bigger celebrities in the world than William and Kate. They're a little bit more upmarket than the Kardashians, I'm told, so I think that the Windsors are a little bit more interesting to follow than the Kardashians. I think there is an element of celebrity in it, but I think it also brings a glamour and a history, a continuity, a magic even into American life. And so you should, I don't expect you should take the monarchy back, but you should join the Commonwealth. Come back to where you belong. Join the Commonwealth, where the Queen is head of state of 16 of the countries. And come back and join the old country again.
Andrew, maybe I'll come for a visit.
That would be a start.
Andrew Neil, as always, it's good to talk to you. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Pleasure to talk to you.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.